Good evening and welcome to Talk Therapy Live. I am S. Candy Winfield, and you have tuned into the third installment in this month of love of the ingredients of a great relationship. So glad to have you with me this evening. I'm going to give a few minutes to allow people to join, and I see that you're coming in. Please put your name in the chat so that I know who's with me this evening. And we will begin our discussion tonight on respect and commitment, two very important ingredients for a great relationship. So, welcome. Come on in. I see we have Minister Harriet, all the way from Philadelphia. So glad to have you with us. Kelly is with us tonight. Hi, Kelly. So happy to have you all with me tonight. So, again, come on in. Please utilize the chat if you have comments or questions or just some thoughts. Please put those remarks in the chat and I will definitely respond to them. So come on in. Let's see who else we have with us tonight. Let's see Kelly. I see Cassandra, all the way from Dallas, Georgia. Hi, Cassandra. So glad that you're with me this evening. It's going to be a great evening because we are going to have a juicy conversation tonight about respect and about commitment in a great relationship. So, again, this is the third installment of the ingredients of a great relationship. I have talked about honesty, empathy, boundaries, forgiveness, kindness, vulnerability. I think last week I talked about boundaries and forgiveness, which is also so very necessary in a loving, nurturing, thriving relationship. And so tonight, two more important ingredients that we're going to talk about. Let's see. I have uh, Jasmine is with us again tonight. Hi, Jazz. Glad to have you with us tonight. So, just a couple more seconds, and I'm going to get going. We're only going to be here for 30 minutes. And obviously, you cannot cover respect and commitment in 30 minutes. But I'm going to give you enough to really allow yourself to kind of think about where you are in terms of receiving and giving respect and and well, just respect and commitment in your relationship. So, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and get started. I see Kiki is with us. Alicia, good to see you. So, come on in. And as I said, I've talked about many topics and ingredients this month thus far in terms of this series. And so, just like when you bake a cake and there's certain ingredients, when you put those ingredients in, you have to put them in at the right amount at the right time to come up with a great tasting cake. Well, the same thing in terms of the ingredients of a great relationship. You don't have to put all of them in all at the same time, but when they're needed and when it's necessary, you have to put the right amount in at the right time. And so that's why it's important to kind of talk about all of the ingredients that are necessary for a great relationship. And again, if you don't put it in at the right time and when it's needed, sticking with our metaphor, the cake will fall. Well, in the same way, the relationship won't thrive. The relationship won't feel good in terms of being in it. And so we don't want that to happen. So, again, I want to give you information, something to think about in terms of how you're showing up in your relationship and how to make it a great relationship. So, let's go ahead and get started. Um, Again, lots of ingredients that are necessary for a great relationship. And we've talked about many of them already: boundaries, empathy, thoughtfulness, forgiveness, respect, vulnerability. Tonight, however, we are going to talk about respect and commitment. And again, let me just greet everybody. Um, and let me also say, please utilize the chat for your comments. I'm going to teach for a few minutes. If there's something that you want to respond to, put it in the chat. And then after the teaching, I'm going to come back and review the chat, answer any questions, respond to any comments. So as I'm going along, please put your remarks, questions, thoughts, and comments in the chat, and I will go back and respond to them. Love to have the interaction, but I also want to make sure that I get out all of this information so that you don't leave lacking anything. Okay? So, again, tonight we're talking about two ingredients of respect and commitment, both absolutely necessary. So, let's start kind of by defining respect. We hear a lot, we talk about respect, we kind of know when we've been disrespected, but we don't really spend a whole lot of time talking about what respect looks like and what respect feels like in a relationship. So, I kind of want to start out by just defining respect. And respect means that you accept somebody for who they are, where they are, even when they're different from you and you don't necessarily agree with them. Respect in your relationship builds feelings of trust, safety, and well-being. Respect doesn't have to come naturally. It's something that you learn to do. It's something that you give. And oftentimes we hear that respect is earned. Um, Not all the time. When we think about our parents, we automatically respect and honor our parents. And so respect is something that's very, very necessary. And when there is respect, it kind of means that you hold them in high regard. You honor them. There's a reverence. There's this feeling of esteem that kind of causes you to act and show up in a certain way. When you respect someone, there's certain things that you won't do, there's certain things that you won't say. In the same way, there's certain things that you will do, and there's certain things that you will say. So to respect someone means to love them and allow them the space to be who they are, to feel what they want to feel, and to express their opinions without judgment, without dishonor. More importantly, you acknowledge their opinions, wants, ideas, and feelings. Even if you don't agree with them, you can accept them and realizing that they have a right to their feelings and opinions and choices, and that you can agree to disagree. But more importantly, when you don't understand, you're going to ask and want enough dialogue with that person so that you can come to a point of understanding and acceptance of them. That kind of is showing up with respect. Okay. I want to talk about ways to show respect. When you show respect, again, you accept them, you appreciate the person, and you show what is called unconditional positive regard. Unconditional positive regard means, again, there's no judgment. Even when I don't agree with you, even when I don't understand, I'm not going to um, have this disdain or feel bad or make you feel bad for where you are. I am going to still honor you. I am still going to hold you in esteem, even if I don't agree, even if it's different. I'm not going to allow a difference or our differences to become a problem in the relationship. I'm going to show you consideration. Your partner should feel uh, thought about at all times, meaning no matter where you are, meaning that when you're making a decision about something, you're going to consider what would my mate say? What would my spouse want? What would my significant other feel or want me to do in a situation like this? And again, when you think about respect, have you shown up in some of these ways? Are these ways that you show respect? Let me hear. Let me talk about it. In in the chat. Let me know how you feel. Are these some of the ways that you show respect? One of the greatest ways to show respect is to listen, and to listen again with a heart to understand and to accept, to listen without interrupting, to listen again without judgment, listening, allowing your significant other to get everything out before you respond, listening not to give a rebuttal, but listening to really seek understanding and to seek acceptance. Again, being non judgmental. Showing respect means that you're going to encourage your mate. You're going to esteem them. You're going to uplift them. You're going to support them in whatever endeavor they're undertaking. You're going to have their back. They're going to know that you are there with them and that you are on their side. It's not going to be any kind of competitive spirit in the relationship. You're going to recognize and know you're on the same side. You're going to be kind. Kindness is lacking today. And learning how to be kind, be thoughtful, be gentle with your significant other is a way to show respect. You're going to be kind in public as well as private. Kimberly says, I need to accept my partner the way he is, showing up at this moment and not be judgmental. Absolutely. That's what we want to show. We want them to feel honored, esteemed, and valued no matter where they are, because they're your significant other, because they're someone you care about and someone that you love. Another way to show respect is that you always speak highly of your mate to whoever you're speaking to, especially family. And let me make a note here, and I want you to really hear me, that oftentimes when we are upset or angry, or we've had a disagreement with our significant other or our mate or our spouse, we sometimes want to vent, and we vent to people who are close to us, sometimes our family members, sometimes a parent, sometimes a sibling. And I want to admonish you that that is not okay. It's not okay to express um, unkind, unflattering expressions about your significant other to your family. And the reason is your family is loyal to you, and you will make up and get back in a good space with your significant other. But your family members are going to remember what you said when you were angry, and what you said that was negative or, again, unflattering or bad. And when your significant other shows up, they're going to kind of be looking at him or her side eyed and remembering what you said. And so, again, you always want to speak highly of your mate, and you don't share confidential information and things that um, may cause family members who have to interact with them to see that person in a bad light. Always, always hold your partner, your mate, your spouse in high esteem in your eyes as well as others' eyes. In line with that, always act, especially in public, as if your mate is right there with you. So again, you're not going to do something that if your mate was there, you wouldn't do. That is showing ultimate respect. That I'm going to honor you even when you're not looking. That also speaks to integrity, because we want to have integrity in our relationship, right? Another way to show respect is to compromise, to forgive quickly, and to apologize. And many times, again, in a relationship, we stop apologizing. We hold on, we hold grudges, and we don't forgive. And again, in showing respect, you want to forgive and apologize because it restores you back to the good place. And finally, as always, communicate, communicate, Communicate is a way to show respect. Don't shut down, don't check out, but be present. Give a response. Giving a response is such a great way to show respect rather than kind of being quiet or being on your phone, not showing eye contact, uh, not being present with your person. Be present, show up, be there for them. Harriet says, this is so good. Thank you, Harriet. Thank you. Kelly says, I had to learn the hard way. Yes, that families and friends, they don't forget. And they kind of keep that bad energy going. And so, again, you do not share, especially when you're upset, with family and friends and people who have to interact with your significant other. Let's talk about why it's important to show respect. Obviously, there's so much more that can be said about respect in relationships, but for our 30-minute discussion, I want to also share why it's important to show respect. Can't cover everything, but again, I want to leave you with some gems that you can think about and that you can, again, self assess. How am I showing respect and how am I receiving respect? Again, make sure you're putting your comments in the chat. Um, to show respect, it demonstrates that you love the person, that you appreciate them, and that you care. So, respecting the person you are in a relationship with helps you to accept their flaws and their idiosyncrasies and those things that you would otherwise get on your last nerve. But because you respect them, you can accept the good and even the not so good because you respect them, because you care, because you value the relationship. Through respect, you learn to be patient, especially with those things that are not so good. You pray about it. You ask God to work on them as well as work on you in terms of being able to accept and to grow and to change in the relationship. Um, show a way to show respect is better decision making. Rather than making decisions that are only about you and for you and what you want, you begin to consider your person. It's through building respect and trust in the relationship that you make decisions that honor both of you, rather than, again, thinking of only yourself and what you want. And so, respect can eliminate selfishness, and that's big. No one wants to be in a relationship with someone that is selfish and only thinking of themselves. Respect allows effective communication. And that's because you listen and you listen again with an ear to understand and to accept and to value. When you respect your partner, you act selflessly. You show love by acknowledging their desires and wishes and dreams. And this helps to build them up. They feel loved and respected, and it helps them to grow because again, they know you have their back. They know that they have your support. They know that you're going to be by their side and you're going to be with them, ushering them on, pushing them on, and making sure that their dreams come true as well. Awesome. Awesome. Let's see. Um, when you respect your partner, well, I said that. Respecting your partner builds their self-esteem and their self-confidence. So it makes them feel good. And think about it, when you know somebody is there for you, you just feel different. You show up different. You have a walk and a stride and a smile and a glow that's different when you know there's no one there for you. And I have some married women on the broadcast tonight, and speak about how you feel when you know your spouse has your back. You know that there's someone that's going to be there for you. You know that there's someone at the on the other end of the phone, and that there is someone that is going to respond to your needs. So it builds self confidence and self esteem. Respect also improves your sex life because you feel valued. You know your needs are going to be met. And again, respect allows your relationship to endure the tough times, the disappointments, the setbacks, because you respect. Somebody says they can't hear me. Not sure why. Is anybody else having that problem? Can you all hear me? Um, Hi, Oshar. Love to see you all coming in. I'm not sure why you're not hearing me. Is anyone else having a problem hearing me? But again, respect allows the relationship to endure because you value the relationship. Okay, she can hear me now. Great, great. Um, because you value the relationship and you respect the relationship, you are going to make sure you do the work to make the relationship um, sustain through the hard times. So again, respect is very, very important because it is one of the ingredients that holds the relationship together. It's one of the ingredients that, again, when it is lacking, it does not feel good being in the relationship. And so you have to show up giving respect, and you have to receive respect in a relationship. Our next um, ingredient is commitment. And I want to, again, that's that C word that comes around. And nobody wants to talk about commitment, but commitment, again, is crucial in a relationship. A committed, and let me define it. A committed relationship is an interpersonal relationship based on an agreed upon commitment to one another involving love, faith, trust, honesty, and openness. It's an agreed upon. You both are on the same page. Forms of committed relationships include close friendships, long term relationships, engagement, and of course, marriage. A committed relationship is one in which you and your partner intentionally say yes to a future together. The relationship is future oriented. You know, if you've been in a relationship with someone for 2 and 3 years and they're not talking about future, they may not be committed. Committed relationships, again, are based on a promise of love, trust, faith, caring, and honesty. And so, again, women always want commitment because women like to feel secure. Men want exclusivity, and they are two very different things. How many of you know that a committed relationship and an exclusive relationship are two different things? They are not the same. Um, it becomes important when you're in a relationship to define what commitment means to each of you. Because again, for women, we think of commitment as that you're going to be there, that there is a future, but he may just be in an exclusive relationship. And so let me talk about the differences. Being exclusive means you both promise not to see or be with anyone else outside of the relationship, but it does not necessarily mean that they are committed for the long haul or that the relationship will last. Being committed, however, means you promise to be exclusive, but you also promise to be in it for the long haul. So sometimes you got to check, am I in an exclusive relationship or a committed relationship? Because a committed relationship involves being exclusive, whereas an exclusive relationship may not mean commitment. Okay. Just want to throw that out there because, again, sometimes we think we're in a committed relationship, but we're really in an exclusive relationship. Um, is there anyone who thought these were the same? And our next slide, what I want to talk about and kind of close with what commitment does in a relationship. It takes the guesswork out of the relationship. You know what you have, you know where you're going, you know what the expectation is. So it provides security. And for women, most women want to feel secure in your relationship. You want to know you're in a committed relationship. You want to know there's future here. It makes both partners feel secure and safe in the relationship. It establishes that two people in the relationship are each other's priority. And it feels good to know that you're someone's priority. The language in the relationship changes from you or I to we, us, and our. And that's big. The language changes. Pay attention to what is said and how it's said. The relationship and the focus is future oriented. You are interested in satisfying the needs of your partner, and you are paying attention to what is important to them emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and physically. You are quick to resolve conflict. You're not going to stay mad. You're not going to shut down, and you're not going to check out of the relationship because you're committed to the relationship. And you're going to be willing to make sacrifices, and you're going to make sure that you spend quality time with one another. And finally, you're going to show up for each other, and you are going to fight for the relationship. You're not going to walk away. You're not going to give up. You're not going to allow setbacks and disappointments to cause the relationship to end. You're not going to throw out the D word. We need to get a divorce every time there is a problem. Don't do that, because when you do that, you're saying, I'm not committed. And particularly in a marital relationship, you need to be committed. It provides security and, again, safety in the relationship. And so, again, it's 8:28. I don't want to hold you long. I do want to go back over the chat and see and kind of respond to any comments or questions that you may have. So, again, if you have comments or questions, please put them in the chat. Clarissa, hi, Clarissa, good to see you. She says, yes, and commitment takes lots of work throughout the entire relationship. Lots of work. Did I mention lots of work? And it does, because you have to constantly work at it because needs change. You know, what you may have needed early in your marital relationship may not be important anymore. But as you evolve and grow and develop, needs change. So again, you have to pay attention, you have to work to make sure that you are staying abreast of what the current need is of your significant other. You have to communicate, you have to ask. So, yes, it takes a lot of work. Kimberly says, I did in a way, but I will definitely get clarity from my partner tonight. Okay, and I think you're referring to whether or not it is you're in a committed relationship or an exclusive relationship. So yeah, and again, it's about communication. It's about finding out, asking, um, and being on the same page. Because you don't want to make assumptions and you don't want to stay in your head in terms of what you think is going on without getting clarification, without having a dialogue. And sometimes when it's hard to have that dialogue and communication has become a problem, you're not communicating effectively. Um, one of you or one or the other is shutting down, or every encounter ends in an argument. It might be time to seek counseling. There are many services that I offer for couples in terms of counseling. And some of those services are couple counseling. And in the month of February, I actually have a special where I'm offering 3 sessions for a discounted rate. And you would be surprised what work can be done, going back to that work that's necessary in a couple relationship in 3 sessions. Sometimes it does not even take a whole lot of time to get back on track. And a lot can be accomplished in 3 sessions. If you're thinking about getting married, you're in a committed relationship, you know that you want a future together, you may want to consider premarital counseling. And premarital counseling is, again, something that you want to do when you are considering making a commitment and being with someone for the rest of your life. Premarital counseling is what you do at that time, not after you've put money on a dress, you bought a dress and you rented the hall. It's before, when you're actually in that process of making a decision that you seek premarital counseling. And then I have another service called ICU. And my ICU service is for when you're in trouble, when things are bad, when you don't even like your spouse or your significant other anymore, and you're really contemplating, is this a relationship I really need to be in? Or is this relationship even going to last? And in ICU, I kind of work with you for a minimum of 2 hours, but up to 4 hours to really get to the root of your problems so that you can effectively utilize couple counseling. And so, again, there are many services that I offer at Suddenly Professional Counseling. Take advantage of them. Don't struggle in your relationship. Seek help. Do the work that is necessary to restore your relationship to a good place. And know that, again, sometimes it does not take a whole lot of time to get to where you need to be. Next week is part 4 and the last in our series of the ingredients of a great relationship. I'm going to attempt to pull everything together. If you have questions, come with your questions. I'd love to answer and address any questions or comments that you may have regarding a great relationship. Let me just again review the chat. Let's see. Okay, Kimberly says yes, she's going to have a discussion tonight whether she's in a committed or an exclusive relationship, and it needs to be clear. Sometimes, yes, we need to clarify some things. Clarissa, thank you for reminding us of the effort required to maintain, endure, and enjoy our relationships. And I'm so glad you said that because relationships are to be enjoyed. Your relationship should make you feel good, and it should feel good being in the relationship. And when it doesn't, again, that may indicate that it's time for a tune up. It's time maybe to talk to someone like myself or a professional or a coach in terms of getting your relationship back on track. Um, we are reminded to never stop learning and to continue growing. Absolutely, because in a healthy relationship, you are evolving, you are changing, you are growing, you are developing, and it should be thriving. When it's stagnant, when it doesn't feel good, again, it means that there's some work that needs to be done. Be willing to do the work and take advantage of the services that are out there, the mentoring that is out there. Have a mentor for your relationship. Nothing at all is wrong with that. So, again, thank you for joining me on Talk Therapy Live. I'll be back next week, same time, and we're going to conclude with session 4 of the ingredients of a great relationship. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm just going to peruse the chat again to make sure that I haven't missed anything. You're welcome, Kimberly. Thank you. Somebody says they're going to pass the word on. Put your name in the chat because I can't really tell. Sometimes when you're on Facebook, In StreamYard, it doesn't show your name, it just shows a Facebook user. And that's kind of why I ask if you can put your name in the chat so I know that you're with me. Thank you, everyone, for joining tonight. It's been great. Again, I love the feedback. Kelly says thank you. She really enjoyed this. So please come back next week when we're going to conclude the ingredients of a great relationship. Share, pass the word on, subscribe to my YouTube channel so that you are made aware whenever I go live and whenever I have a broadcast. And hopefully, Cassandra said, okay, that you're going to pass. Thank you so much, Cassandra. And it's so glad to have you with me this evening. I'm so glad you're on with me this evening. So, again, thank you, everyone. I don't want to run over too far. And hopefully, I'll see you next week. Bye bye.